Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Franchise Dissection, the show where we examine your favorite horror franchise one entry at a time, asking if it is essential to the franchise as a whole. I'm your host, Alan, and I'm joined by my good friend, Bobby.
Hey, yo, what up? It's your boy, Weakest Jason Disliker, here to be the contrarian dissector once again.
All right, well, as we took a brief pause, so did Friday the 13th here for some time. We're gonna come back to Tommy years later and see what's happening with him in Friday the 13th Part 5: A New Beginning. So as you guys know, Franchise Dissection goes live on our YouTube channel every other Friday. Please do comment, subscribe, like, let us know what you think. If you want to talk to us a bit more directly, come check us out in Discord. We're hanging out in there talking about new movies we're going to be watching for the main show. Thanksgiving is right around the horizon. It's going to be a sweet time. Now, Bobby, let's get into this, Bobby, shall we? So we got to talk about characters here. Of course, I think we have to start with the Jason-lessness of this movie.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most notable factors, I'd say. How did it work for you?
So this is one of the things I actually like about this movie, is that it tried to do something different while kind of remaining within the canon, right? Because Jason is like whole hog dead by the end of part 4, right? They
make that abundantly clear.
They killed him. Tommy Jarvis did it. He succeeded, right? And to make it somebody different is cool. What isn't cool is who they made to be the Jason.
Oh, you mean you didn't pick up on the multiple shots of this one random side character that were just a little too long? That didn't make you think, oh, that's Jason?
I was shocked and appalled that a simple ambulance driver could be led to such horrid acts.
Yeah.
No, it just reminds me of like every time you'd ever watch like a comedy show making fun of a horror movie and they bring up like the contrived twist at the end. It was really, like, what? You didn't think it was the ice cream man that I mentioned in the first scene? It's like,
it's
no,
very,
why would
like,
I think that?
Scooby-Doo-esque in a way. Like,
that's old Ben Jenkins. Yeah.
Oh my god, I honestly didn't make that connection till just now.
And you know, I hate these movies, and I've been very clear on that, but I kind of love that. It's so stupid.
We'll talk about it a bit more in the climax, because that's obviously something we're going to have to go into.
For sure.
Kind of plot stuff there. But, like, I like the attempt, but it just, I don't know, didn't work well for me.
Well, especially because they make Tommy out to be such a, like, he's going to be the thing. And at the end, he ends up being the Jason. And it's just like, what? Why did we need these last 15 minutes of Tommy Jarvis being a good guy if you're just going to make him a villain in the end? Like, it didn't work.
With Tommy as well, I do really like the cold open with Tommy. I really, really like how it sets up the idea of, you know, when you survive a serial killer like Jason, it has lasting ramifications that kind of destroy you for the rest of your life. That just worked for me. Like
I think that's like one of the few things that the Friday movies do really well is Tommy and the final girl from the first movie, whose name escapes me.
It escapes me too.
Hey, it's all
then
good.
She gets got. It's awesome.
Yeah, but but they're both dealing with like this kind of intense trauma in their sequel movies, right?
Yeah.
And they do seem like they were genuinely affected by like Jason or Pamela Voorhees' rampage. Now, I don't know if it necessarily, carries all the time. Tommy being semi-catatonic half the time. I guess, considering how much of like Tommy Jarvis had a speaking role in his last movie. He's barely even in this. That's very interesting that they do it that way.
Yeah.
But
what did you think of some of the other side characters? Because to me, they just seem notably weak comparatively to the rest of like the franchise.
I'm shocked you'd say this. And the reason why I'm shocked you'd say this is so many of these movies are known for having like filler and nothing characters, and this does too. But there's some fun moments, like Pete and Vinny, the greasers, right? I love I really do love, and I feel like it had to have been unintentional, but like that they're absolutely like queer coded, like that they're both. It feels like they're both in the closet for one another, and neither one of them wants to be like, "I love you, just take me home instead," but because they bicker and argue like a long term romantic relationship. I mean, like, they suck because they're all like, yeah, let's get some pussy and, like, you know, whatever else it is. It's like, ugh. But, like, there's that subtext that I really think is kind of fun.
I will give them credit. There were 2 lines in their scene that genuinely made me laugh. When I think it's Pete is coming back, and he says, either you get the car started or you're a dead man. That's funny.
Yes.
Like, he didn't get the car started. He is a dead man.
Yeah.
He wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
And then the other one is crap my ass. That's just funny. That's a very bad line, and it's kind of poor writing, but I genuinely love it.
Crap my ass.
I also see that you seem to like Nita and Demon, and
I do.
They're fine, but I don't know. Just none of these characters work for me. All of them, I'm like, I don't like.
Oh, come on. Demon is like weirdly multi-dimensional. Like, he's this traveling punk rock dude named Demon, but he genuinely seems to love and care for his brother, and like doesn't want his brother to do wrong things and do bad, as being like really nice to Pam. Like, he just seems like really, and then he goes and shits his brains out in the outhouse, and then him and Nita have this really wonderful touching moment of song, and they like it feels like everybody related to Reggie in this movie, so basically all of the black characters were just the only good bits of this movie. Like, sincerely,
I'd say they were the only like decent characters. Now, I was incredibly disappointed throughout most of this film with the
Why ever would you be disappointed with a movie that's notorious for its gore to have zero gore?
To have almost no gore? That's a wild thought to have. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, they just need to do better than this. And I know, like, I think you mentioned some censorship problems that this movie went through.
Yeah, the MPAA really took a sledgehammer to this one. Like, even still, I don't know if, like, there are some kills that would have been, I think, uncomfy to say the least, that maybe should have gotten censored, like the goth chick getting, like, she gets like a knife up her vagina in the like, so it's like, that's a little bit, a lot. But like some of these kills really could have used just a bit more of a zhuzh, you know what I mean? Just a little je ne sais quoi, you know.
It just needed more time in the oven, I think, or just sure. I mean, really the only good shot of gore, we kind of mentioned it just a second ago, Demon is like the one good shot of gore in this entire film. The first shot, you see him kind of standing there, he gets stabbed through like almost the knee, looks great. It's a solid shot. You see everything. Then he's standing there and gets, punctured by the same thing. It works. Like, I don't necessarily need this to be Bone Tomahawk, but I need to have something other than pan away. There's an axe in her chest.
Yeah.
Spooky. Like, it needs more than that, especially considering the franchise it's in. I mean, there are substantially better examples of gore in almost every other entry in this franchise. This might be the weakest, I think.
In terms of gore?
Maybe. I mean, 1 is not particularly gory, but it also has some really good
it's Tom Savini.
Exactly. Yeah. The throat slit in the first is better. The worst problem with the gore in this film is it's just makeup, and that's fine. You can do good effects with proper stage makeup.
You get the one, like, the flare.
You get one good throat slit where you can see something.
No, the flare, the road flare into the
That
mouth.
one's pretty solid.
That's kind of fun.
That works, yeah. But, like, the first time you see a throat get slit, you can so clearly tell that it's just makeup and no prosthetic anything.
Like, it's little bleeding knife that they,
Yeah, it's so bad. Like, I don't know, they needed to do more there. Now, granted, you could make the argument that, well, it's not really Jason. So how gory could it be?
Yeah, but at the same time, right, he gets more kills than Jason ever has so far. So it's like his body count has been like it has risen to new heights, but with nothing to show for it.
Yeah, and you don't even get a good kill of Roy. He's like, oh, he falls.
Yeah.
His arm got cut off. You didn't see it. Like
this might not be a gore thing, but the fact that he wore like the hockey mask, but also like a prosthetic neck and face, I think is very funny. And then he just got impaled by a tractor trailer, which is like you saw that in the original Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. On my rewatch for this one, I I had to rewind a second. Because when you see Roy's shot of him like punctured and everything, the mask, for some reason, his prosthetic face and the hockey mask are just gone because reasons.
Fell off when he fell.
Yeah, and the mask just dematerialized around his face.
It can't get wet.
Oh, that's
it'll melt.
Yep, it'll melt. Yep. It's a Wicked Witch of the West situation.
Yeah, exactly.
But I had to rewind because I'm like, wait a minute, he didn't have hair. What is happening here? And then I was like, and then I saw the mask was all around. Oh, I get it, but it's still dumb.
It's very dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, like this movie, you can never give movies like this that are so reliant on gore credit for being like, well, if the uncensored version would have happened, if you ever seen the test footage of the uncensored version, this could have been a better movie if it wasn't for those darn censors. But like, that's all this movie was ever potentially going to have, and for it to really get hit off at the Achilles tendons like that, like it's what really can you do except for just hope for the best that people like the contrived twist.
All right, Bobby, let's get into this mess of a plot and climax. Did it work for you?
Again, no.
Okay.
But I want to tell you how badly I wanted it to work for me.
Okay.
This movie's plot feels like such a parody of itself. And I just wanted it to be like funny, or like for you to like be like, oh yeah, cool, because like it's like the same thing with like a Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. If this movie would have been good, or in Halloween Season of the Witch case, if people would have just like gotten off of Michael Myers for a second, this could have been a really cool change, like zhuzh refresh in the series that actually might have made it be seen as less of like a boring stereotype and more of like an interesting thing that happened in the later half. But as it stands, I think you said it earlier in the episode, this is an episode of Scooby-Doo.
Yep. So we have this whole contrived plot where the movie's making you think Tommy's Jason. And that by itself is an interesting idea. The idea of like the killer still lives on because Tommy's fucked up because he murdered a murderer who murdered his mother and like 3 other kids that same night. Like that idea works. But then to just be like, hey, we're going to subvert your expectations just because we want to like subvert your expectations and just be a Scooby-Doo movie. It's Roy. What? Like, when I first...
Who's Roy?
Exactly. Who's Roy? When we're in the climax and you see Tommy enter, I literally, the first time I saw this, I was like, huh?
What do you mean this is... Tommy's been gone this entire time where the entire household is getting murdered. Where was he? What was he doing?
Apparently just in the woods?
Yeah, just yelling in the woods and doing kung fu.
Punching trees, much like he punches other people.
Yeah.
So, Bobby, you brought something up right before we got into this segment.
Yeah.
Just lay this on us.
Yeah, so the twist ending is Roy, the guy who's playing fake Jason. There's a character who dies very early on. He gets murdered by another character who just disappears from the movie after that scene. And it ends up being Roy's long-lost son that he abandoned when he was a child. And when they show that they're trying to prove that it was Roy, and they're giving this entire plot dump, they show a picture of Roy by himself in his own wallet, and then it flips to another picture of the character who was murdered as an adult, like just the actor, just standing there, just like very clearly like all chubby and eating candy because that was kind of his shtick, and it's like, what the fuck? How did he get that picture, man? Like, how did that happen?
I don't know. I didn't pick up on that, but now that you say that, it makes me hate everything about this movie so much more.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Yeah. Do we want to talk about our final girl, Pam?
I mean,
Pam Roberts. You know, Pam Roberts. It's
Pam.
It's Pam Roberts. Don't be afraid.
This is my girlfriend, Pam. Demon.
Yeah.
You know, this is Pam. She's great.
Hi, I'm Pam Roberts.
Yeah. She's honestly about as forgettable as it gets. She's just kind of there. She doesn't. I don't know. This franchise has had pretty solid final girls in general, and Pam kind of is notably blah comparatively, it seems. And I think part of that is because Tommy does show up, and like you could almost make the argument that Tommy's like the final boy. I don't know. I don't know. I think that kind of works in a concept. Because I mean, he effectively is the one that kind of kills Jason this time by chopping off his hand as he's, holding on to Reggie. By the way, that's another thing. How much do you think Roy weighs?
He seems like he's at least $2.
He's minimum $2. He's like 6-something feet tall. Yeah. He's not like a stick. He's probably between 2 and 220.
He might be 250.
So I'd also wager that this man's not particularly in shape. I'm making some guesses here.
Why? Because he drives an ambulance?
No, because I just don't. He doesn't look like he's like super in shape. But he's holding onto a kid and also trying to hold himself up, and Pam's holding on to Reggie, and like he would have fallen so much earlier. Because there's just no way. Like, man. He's Jason Voorhees. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you forgot that you weren't supposed to know. Yeah, you weren't supposed to. You forgot that he wasn't supposed to be Roy. No, you knew it wasn't Tommy at that point.
No, but I forgot again because I just fixated on it being
And they
Tommy.
did make sure to let you know that that Tommy's jacked. Tommy's jacked and ripped.
Yes.
He doesn't. Yeah. But I think to your point about Pam being kind of like a fake out final girl because Tommy is really the final boy. He's the Scream King in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I buy that because like you're not supposed to, even though yet he's not. You know that he is not like. It's the anti-Scream red herring, where it's like it's like this.
So one thing to wrap us up here in our kind of final parts of the movie.
Yeah.
What the hell is the end of this movie? Like, we're watching this movie, and we're like, oh, Tommy's gonna be Jason. No, he's not. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
What?
No. They're like, wait, guys, don't worry. We're just gonna make it so, like, part 4, we had a really cool ending, right? Part 5, we're just like, hey, you don't need to watch part 5. Here's the same ending.
And this ending makes me mad knowing how part 6 starts. We'll get into that in a little bit later, but like, the ending of this means nothing toward. I don't get it. Whatever.
Again, this movie didn't have enough faith in itself to give it continuity that would require you to watch it.
Alrighty, Bobby. It's time to talk about if this movie is essential to Friday the 13th as a whole. That's what we're here to do here as we dissect franchises. Does this movie really mean something to the greater Friday the 13th franchise? So let me know. What do you think?
To this series, no. So this movie does something that no other Friday the 13th movie since, and really only one after, does, and that's to try something kind of new and weird with a copycat Jason, with this like whodunit murder mystery thing. It's trying something different. Unfortunately for both of those movies, this one and the one that will be discussed at a later date, they're still Friday the 13th movies. So they end up just being weirder and worse. Big ups for the copycat Jason. Think that's kind of cool. But the problem is this movie isn't even essential for itself, let alone the series as a whole. This movie just puts a pause on what is widely considered to be the best storyline in any of the Friday the 13th movies, that is the Tommy Jarvis. For it to be the middle entry and for it to do nothing, like less than nothing, like it just does it, right? Like I adore this movie because it tries, but it's bad. It's just not essential. No.
This movie is bad, and I can't find... I'm a bit harsher on this, especially on my second watch. The first watch, I was like, okay, that was a movie. The second time I watched this, I was like, okay, that was garbage, and I hated a lot of what I experienced with it. So it just... The attempt to do something different is valuable, but the execution of it is just it's a really bad Scooby-Doo episode. You will have more fun watching your average Scooby-Doo episode than I think you would in this film. And honestly, the gore is about the same between the two. It is decidedly unessential to Friday the 13th as a whole. Now, we do have one note in here from producer Corbin in our little script that I wanted to bring up here to wrap things in. While this movie may not be essential, the look of Jason, even though it's not Jason, is a pretty common image in merch, which is hilariously ironic. So this movie gets to live on, even though we both think it really doesn't matter to the overall overarching franchise. So that's what we've got for you today on Franchise Dissection. Next victim is, of course, going to be Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, coming in 2 weeks' time. In the meantime, come check out our Discord. Links, as always, in the description. You can come talk with us, hear us ramble about all sorts of things. Halo's a big topic of discussion as of right now. We're pretty active in the music channel as well. Bobby, I want to thank you so much for spending some time with me tonight.
I don't have anything for you, baby.
Oh, I love it. Take care, everybody.